Okay, let the fun begin. Albert says, I wish the weather could make up its mind. Wait for the headline I have in store for you. I wish the weatherman could make up his mind, actually. Good morning, everyone. It is Saturday morning, and I am so happy to be here. The week is over. It was super fun. It was super productive, and I am stoked with I'm just happy. I'm just happy. It's a good week, and I'm just happy to be here with you here at Coffee and Headlines, where we share all kinds of good vibes, and sometimes not so good vibes, but mostly good vibes. Today, I have great accounts that you share with me. Today, we have interesting news. We have a new airline to talk about, and we have an interesting but fascinating to me example of what happens when the politics of our state don't align with the politics of Puerto Vallarta. And one really has to wonder if there is any intention of our local government to work in alignment with the state government. But I don't want to get ahead of myself with all this shade. I also want to share with you I made a commercial. I made a commercial with the help of some friends, and I want to share it with you. This is what happens when I get high. I come up with crazy ideas that then materialize. And what else do we have? We have purum pum pim pam pam. Oh, we have all kinds of things. But as always, I welcome all of you to Coffee and Headlines. It's a pleasure to see you here, particularly those of you that. Thank you for that reminder, Logan. In fact, let me go here before I go anywhere else. Buenos dias from the surface of planet Mercury. Well, not only that, but in the announcement for the show today, I was going to talk about, or I said that I was going to talk about planets aligning, and this is because I saw a headline yesterday that said that Saturn, Neptune, Jupiter, Uranus, and Mercury were to align this weekend, early in the morning. But I just realized this was early this morning. So if you wanted to get up and see the planets aligning, it's already happened. So never mind that. Back to where I was. As always, we welcome those of you watching live for the first time. Gina, you're here. This is great because we have a feel-good story that has to do with one of your staff members at Whiskey Kitchen. This is excellent. We welcome everybody. I'll stop interrupting myself. We welcome everybody that is watching live for the first time to let us know that you are, so that we can give you a nice welcome. All you have to do is mention the word new in your comment, and we'll be so very happy to say welcome. Birthdays to anything you have. And of course, if you have an important statement that you wish to share with everybody, it helps if you add a capital letter like Den has done. Paco, thanks for being the glue that holds our cluster together. Oh, shucks. I'm blushing. Well, I may hold it together, but you guys nurture it. So this is your community. I'm just the guy sitting here pushing buttons in my little control thing. So, uh, pushing buttons in my little control thing. I didn't realize I muted my microphone. I think I muted my microphone. Did I mute my microphone? No, I didn't mute my microphone. There you go. Anyhow, I think we're ready. Let's start with the news for today. And of course, let's turn the news window on. Hello. Make way for Senor Air, a new regional airline. What a name, Senor Air. Seriously. A new regional airline focusing on Mexico's northwest is starting to make waves, or airwaves, that is. It is called Señor Air. It will be based in Cabo San Lucas and will fly to Puerto Vallarta, Guadalajara, Mazatlán, Los Mochis, and the new Felipe Ángeles Airport in Mexico City. They have not released an opening date just yet, but there are both websites and Facebook pages to bookmark if you are interested, and I'll include them in the show notes. The idea of flying from here to Mazatlan sounds very, very alluring, although I don't mind the bus. So yesterday was our state's 200th anniversary as an independent state, and in Guadalajara, our capital city, of course, threw the house out the window with all sorts of celebrations. Here we announced festivities taking place nearby in San Sebastián del Oeste and remarked that nothing was announced for Puerto Vallarta that we knew of. Today, we learned that there was a small civic ceremony at the main plaza as our mayor went to Guadalajara to celebrate. And since all official employees had the day off, only 5 city council members showed up for our ceremony. This article does mention an interesting chronology of the history of our state. So if anything, I'm going to save this article for future reference in case we want to dive into the history of Jalisco. Moving right along, residents living in front of El Paredón Beach on the South Shore are showing their friendly, welcoming face by staking their claim, quite literally, off the beach. This, of course, is illegal as we're talking about federal zone. Concessions can be granted by the government that allow the placement of beach furniture and such. But this business of stakes and ropes is definitely a no-no. And Vallarta Opina reports on changes in downtown Bucerías, but I'm not entirely sure if they feel that these changes are for the better or the worse, as they claim that the improvements make the town look less like a small town. And the article, of course, blames the changes on predator developers and investments as much as they blame things on homeless people that have also staked their claim on the beach. Now, I don't live in Bucerías, but if anybody is watching that it lives in Bucerías and cares to comment one way or another, feel free to do so. I think, if I can say so, I mean, there's bound to be development and growth in any town, and sooner or later, every town stops being a small town. And we've chuckled before when we see that they still refer to the downtown Puerto Vallarta area, some papers do, as the little typical Mexican pueblo, which, of course, is no longer. So if you live in Bucerías and you have some comments to make about the changes going on in your town, for better or worse, we'd love to read them. Moving right along, this is weird and sad. A dead turtle was left at Los Muertos Pier 2 days ago, and it was decomposing. Apparently, nobody knows how it got there, and when locals reported it to local authorities, no one showed up to do something about it. So the fishermen that currently or usually work at the pier opted to tie the turtle to a motorboat and drag it into the ocean. So that's a sad story all around. Sad that the turtle was left there. We don't know who did that, and sad that the authorities didn't seem to care. And speaking of authorities and speaking of Los Muertos Pier, here is that perfect example of the lack of alignment that sometimes goes on between our municipal government and the state government. politically speaking. Back on June 8th, we reported this. We reported on our mayor's supervision of the much needed improvements that are taking place at Los Muertos Pier. In his statement, he said that thanks to this project, visitors and tourists will be able to once again enjoy Los Muertos Pier's beauty and splendor, but did not specifically acknowledge how it is that this is happening or where the budget came from. So it's easy to jump to conclusions and assume, well, if Mayor Michel is reporting it, clearly this must be possible because of municipal funding. But nothing was confirmed nor denied. Fast forward to yesterday when Yusara Canales, who is the local deputy for the Morena party, published a video saying, I made a promise. I made a promise to the people of Vallarta, and as I announced this past April 19, I won't let you down. The improvements at Los Muertos are happening because of me. Me. So she just went on me. And of course, guess who wouldn't take any of that? Our governor, of course, who yesterday on his Facebook page confirmed that the funds for the improvement at the pier were secured due to the work of Jalisco's tourism secretary, even though, and now I quote our governor, there are people that shamelessly and vulgarly wish to claim state projects as their own. The governor went on to clarify that the project is part of the ongoing pier renovation that has been going on throughout the state and was started with the Boca de Tomatlan Pier, which we have been announcing and talking about all along. And even though he did not refer to this deputy, Yusara Canales, by name, it's pretty clear who he was referring to. So we give this news note one of these. Tómala. Are you amused or at least interested in all this political local stuff? I certainly hope you are, because I think it's as fascinating as a telenovela. But if you don't want to hear about this, just let me know. We'll tone it down. And moving right along, this is another mild case of a tómala, and this is what I was referring to earlier about the weather making its mind or not. This is not so much about the weather as it is about local weatherman Victor Manuel Cornejo Lopez, who is part of Civil Protection Scientific Committee of the Bay, has indicated that Mexico is the hottest country in the planet. I asked Google to confirm this, and Google had other numbers. As of this morning, 8:37 Pacific Standard Time, the hottest country in the world is Kuwait. The current temperature in Kuwait City, the capital of Kuwait, is 114 Fahrenheit or 45 degrees Celsius. Other hot countries right now in the world, we have Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Oman, and the United Arab Emirates. So Mexico is not the hottest country in the world, according to Google. And of course, as we mentioned yesterday, the hot weather system prevailing over Mexico is keeping the rain at bay, quite literally. But this was reported by the same guy who said that Mexico is the warmest country in the world. So I think I'm going to check with our snarky weatherman just to see what he has to say about all of this. Hello, weather. Manifest yourself, please. Come on, where are you? Carrot weather. There you go. That cloud looks like David Hasselhoff eating a cheeseburger. Okay, whatever. It is 30 degrees out right now. Feels like 32. Humidity is only 56%. That's not so bad. And our temperature in Fahrenheit degrees is 86 degrees Fahrenheit. Our weather forecast for today says humid with mostly clear skies, but a few clouds may be wandering around, a high of 32 and a low of 26. Tomorrow, Sunday, will be a humid day with clear skies throughout the day. Chance of precipitation 7%, high of 32, low of 26. I don't care. I'm going to go swimming up the river, so there. And Monday, we start the week with a humid day with mostly cloudy skies, a high of 33 degrees, and a low of 26. So it is getting warmer. But what are we gonna do? Swim in the river. That's what I'm gonna do. Of course, today is Saturday, and today is our new tradition of saying thank you on Saturday to all the wonderful things that happen, but very specifically to those of you that choose to become members here at Coffee and Headlines. I'd like to welcome new member Dema as a new clusterite or someone that just renewed. I'm not sure, but welcome and thank you. And of course, I want to mention Cluster Angels, Angela and Tommy, who became or renewed or upgraded their membership to Cluster Angels this week. Thank you very much. And of course, I also want to mention, as I promised I would, our 5 community partners: Apache's Martini Bar, a fun alfresco bar perfect for people watching and meeting people in the heart of Zona Romantica that feature daily happy hour. We have Best Cord Cutting TV, a locally based television service provider offering you hundreds of international channels for your viewing pleasure, now also offering 126 channels from Mexico. We have Hotel Mercurio to thank, Puerto Vallarta's favorite hotel for the LGBT plus community, featuring their legendary Beers, Boys, and Burgers party every Sunday. And of course, Bistro Mercurio, Hotel Mercurio's own independently branded poolside restaurant that features thoughtful versions of American and Mexican favorites. And last but not least, we have Joint Co-working Hotel, a beautifully appointed hotel located next to the Rio Quale that also offers a state-of-the-art co-working space and a variety of ongoing courses and classes and workshops, including my very own music appreciation presentations. So, Coffee and Headline is made possible by all of you. And if you are a member, I thank you. If you are not a member, I thank you as well, because hopefully you're out saying nice things about Coffee and Headlines, and we appreciate that. And of course, these community partners are an important part of our growth, so get to know them. They are awesome businesses that do wonderful things. And last but not least, I set myself, no, not last but not least, I still have a few things. I set myself this banana as a reminder. I want to read you a nice letter that I received yesterday from a couple of regular viewers, Brian and Chris, who told me this story. We experienced an amazing sense of community yesterday and wanted to share the good vibes. We were on the search for butcher's twine and thought the China home store on the 200, the one that's right next to the Soriana, and if you haven't been there, you should. We thought that the China home store was our best bet, but decided to stop at the butcher shop on Francisco Villa first at Carne Supremas. Through our Spanglish and pics on my phone, they had some but didn't sell it. They gave us a small piece so we wouldn't have to play charades at the next stop, and said there was a place just down the street where we could get some. On the way, we were passing Whiskey Kitchen, so we popped in to see if they could point us in the right direction. And Kevin, who is one of the waiters at Whiskey Kitchen, was busy but stopped what he was doing. It was early, there were no customers yet. He walked us down the half a block to the ferreteria, or hardware store, gave us the twine, and ensured that we got the correct change. As he was going back to work, I tried to give him the change and thank him, but he wouldn't take the money. The staff at the butcher shop and Whiskey Kitchen are just one of the many great examples of the willingness of the people of Puerto Vallarta to help each other. So again, well, I'm happy to take credit for starting Coffee and Headlines. The credit in my mind goes to you, cluster members, because it is you who celebrate these connections. It is you that make this possible. And every time I hear a nice story about connection, about community, I love to feature it. So if good things are happening to you because of Coffee and Headlines, or if you are making strides in reaching out to the local business community to learn more about where to find things or how to get around. And by the way, what Chris and his partner did here is very smart. If you don't know how to say something in Spanish, take a photo of it or find a photo online, put it on your phone, and at least bring your phone with you so you can show it at the store where you're trying to get something done, or to buy something rather. Moving right along, a few days ago, regular viewer Liz Avison, I hope I'm saying your last name correctly, Liz, commented that she had enjoyed a brand new video released by local band Tatehuari. When I asked her to please share the link, she kindly sent it my way. So I will be adding it to the show notes this morning so you can enjoy it as well. It was filmed at the Love Beach in Mayto. So if you haven't been there, that's a great opportunity for you to see this beautiful beach. Another video that caught my attention last night was one posted by local muralist Misael Ivan Lopez. One of the new murals he painted is up at the La Cruz viewpoint, and I thought you would want to see it as well. Misael is one of the most prolific mural painters in town, so it's a good place to have a mural. Mind you, I haven't been up there since the very beginning of the pandemic, when I went and recorded my climb as I was going up, and I was huffing and puffing so bad that I don't know that I want to record it live again. I do want to go back up there, but I will not be recording anything until I get to the top. Anyhow, before we get started with our chit-chat section, and as I promised, these kinds of things come to my mind whenever I get happy, shall we say. And of course, one of the new things that I am announcing is one of my two music appreciation presentations during the month of July. This one on how to enjoy opera, or an introduction to the opera, was a request by one of the people that show up on a regular basis. So I had this crazy idea to make myself a commercial. So I relied on the help of some kind friends that helped me put this short video together, all using free tools, because of course I have my promotional workshop coming up, in which we are hoping that people will get more excited about empowering themselves and putting more events online so that we can all enjoy them. Anyhow, take a look at my madness. So you're walking down the park with your date. It's been a few months, but you know she's the one.
Oh, I'm having such a wonderful time.
Me too.
All of a sudden, she asks a question.
Wouldn't you just love to go to the opera together?
You mean going to the opera? Abruptly, the blissful romantic euphoria shatters, replaced by a bone-chilling realization. The mere thought of attending the opera sends shiver down your spine. What if the experience becomes a torment, a sinister display that unravels your sanity? The dread swells within, threatening to suffocate you. As your world crumbles, anxiety tightens its grip, plunging you into an abyss of terror from which escape seems impossible. Just kidding. It's nothing like that. Trust me, I know about these things. And if you don't, you should check out my upcoming music appreciation presentation, Opera, an Introduction, to take place at the Joint Co-working Hotel on July 13. In this presentation, we will dive into the origins of opera, its evolution, and how it continues to transform itself today while reaching new audiences. We will also explore popular selections from the repertoire and provide valuable tools and suggestions for everyone, from newcomers to seasoned devotees, to enhance your upcoming opera experiences. I hope you can join us, and if you cannot be there, please follow my Facebook page, Paco Ojeda on Music, to find out about other upcoming music appreciation presentations. And that's my madness. I want to thank my dear friend Michal, who provided the girl voice, and my dear friend Eric, who provided the boy voice. And of course, we were out the other night to celebrate Logan's birthday. and a bunch of us were sitting at this restaurant, and that's where the communal gasp came from. I told everybody at the table, I'm going to count to 3, and everybody go, and we did, and that's what happened. So if it's too much, maybe it is too much. I don't know. Anyhow, let's see. Experienced a companion falling asleep during Tosca last time. I invited him to share my opera tickets. Well, it's not for everyone, that's for sure. Let me rewind the comment tape here to see what everybody is up to. Lots of good mornings. Betsy Ann, how are you? Betsy Ann is one of my regular music appreciation friends, and I always welcome her suggestions. Our last presentation was her suggestion. Somebody else suggested opera this time, but I always want to know what kind of music you enjoy because that inspires me to research new stuff. Let's see what we have. Many good mornings. Many good mornings. We saw that cue before. Here's Mihal. Wouldn't you love to go to the opera together? We had fun. Let's see. Bucería. Thank you, Rod. I think the street improvements in Bucería Centro is very nice. Overall, the large number of new high-rise condos is overwhelming. Not a small town feeling anymore. Well, just look at Emiliano Zapata. You know, how that is evitable or inevitable is unfortunately not in the hands of mere mortals like you and I am afraid. Let's see. I know that Logan's recent vacation was sabotaged by a flight that was canceled without further notice, with a previous notice. So I can appreciate this comment of, do you think I'm going to trust an airline with the name of Señor Air? You know, I don't blame you, Logan. Let's see what else we have. Albert loves local shade. Toma la shit. Thank you very much. You see, I ask because of one reason. I run into English-speaking locals, and I'm not going to say any names, but there are some English-speaking locals that have no clue of what's going on above the Rio Quale. And that's okay. That's okay too. Because there's room for all of us. And then there are some English-speaking locals that are really curious about the way our city works and how it's growing and its challenges and so forth and so on. I favor the latter, but of course, I always want to keep things in check in case I am going too local with the content. Let's see. Purim pum pum. I love hearing stories of how helpful people are there. Thank you, Paco. Well, I love those stories too, Pat. So if anybody else wishes to share stories like that, please let us know. Brian says, thank you for sharing our story with the cluster. Well, thank you for sharing it with me, Brian. I hope whatever you cooked came out well. Thank you for sharing. No, I'm just kidding. Let's see. Purim pam pum pam pum. Wish we were there for the opera lecture. No worries, then. All these lectures, presentations that I do are repeatable, and sooner or later we're gonna start repeating them, just because it makes sense. Whenever people want to see something and you're gonna be in town, it's very easy for me to schedule it. So just let me know. Let's see what else we have. Karen says your madness is brilliant. Thank you very much, Karen. It's just being silly. Gina reminds us that La Comer has wine and liquor at buy 3 bottles, pay for 2. I think that's going on all month long. This is part of their usual month-long sales. Kathy says, I would love to learn more about Carlos Santana's music. I will gladly take a note of that. And whenever you come back to Puerto Vallarta, this will be one of the first things that we will do. He has such a long career. And he recently made some interesting statements about having been molested as a child and how he has forgiven his child molester. So there you have it. Teatro Vallarta used to show opera from the Met and Covent Garden, London. Any chance they will be back? Well, Jonathan, I can tell you that would be a good question to ask them. Let me tell you what I know. I was part of the original group that created that persuaded Teatro Vallarta to do that, and they did for a couple of years. That's how I started doing music appreciation presentations, because I figured I'm going to get myself a free ticket if I talk about opera, and I caught the bug. Unfortunately, it was never really well promoted by the theater, and the idea didn't take off. Now, we know for a fact a couple of things. Number one, the people that handle the concession for all Met opera screenings in Mexico is the Auditorio Nacional, or National Auditorium in Mexico City. They are the ones that grant the concessions or not. We also know, number two, that some Cinépolis in other cities handle that concession. But every time, and I've done this 2 or 3 times, I've reached out to the people at Auditorio Nacional and said, hey, you guys, can't you talk to Cinépolis VIP here in town? I mean, I'm sure that Cinépolis VIP would schedule the operas because a lot of people would want to go see them, or at least a few of us would. But now Auditorio Nacional seems to be kind of reluctant on having any dealings with Cinépolis. I don't know the details, but every time I brought this up, it just seems to not go anywhere. But hey, maybe it's time to revive a petition that I put up on the petition website some years ago about Auditorio Nacional working with Cinépolis to bring the opera back to Puerto Vallarta. I think that would be an amazing place to enjoy all the live concerts and cultural stuff that Cinépolis has in other cities, but not here. We have the blessing and the curse of being a tourist town, and as such, a lot of people think that we're not interested in culture, and that is a sad conversation for another day. Today is Saturday. Let's see what else we have. Tomorrow is Father's Day, says my friend in Masur, Carlos Bello. So I'm going to say, Papacito, mwah. Have a lovely Father's Day, and may your hands be full of pleasurable sensations. That's all I'm going to say. Let's see what else we have. I think we are done. If we get to see your opera presentation, Kathy says we should all dress up like we are going to a real opera. I love that idea. Anyhow, I think we are pretty much done. So let me switch over to this other screen. And thank you, as always, for another week. Another wonderful week. Thank you all for being a part of it. Thank you for enduring the heat and the humidity with me. Thank you for staying healthy and taking care of yourselves as we go through this crazy heat wave. And hopefully we'll see each other again soon. Hopefully even Monday. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you again soon.